If you have ever struggled with doing a morning time because you are overwhelmed by all the options, or you can't follow a loop schedule because there are too many moving pieces, then you are in the right place. Today, I'm going to show you how to do a morning time that focuses on just one thing. And stay tuned until the end where I show you where you can get a handy tool to help you put this into practice. So I first heard about a one thing morning time when I was recording a podcast with my good friend Sarah McKenzie from Read Aloud Revival. Sarah shared with me that she had simplified her morning time by focusing down on just one thing at a time. I thought this was a great concept and would really kind of remove a lot of barriers that some people might have to doing a morning basket, and so I wanted to be sure to share that with you. I'm Pam Barnhill, and I have taught thousands of homeschoolers how to beat burnout, build systems, and bring more joy to their homeschool days. And today, I'm sharing with you the anti-loop for your homeschool morning basket. In this video, we will cover why you might want to choose to do one thing instead of doing a bunch of things at one time, and we will also talk about what a simple schedule for your morning basket can look like. Okay, so a loop schedule in your morning time is a schedule that you use to put a bunch of different things in your morning time. And moms use it when they just want to do all the things. They want to do the poetry and the music appreciation and art appreciation and study this artist and do these art projects and do this memory work, and just they want to do all the things and have this beautiful, rich morning time, and there's nothing wrong with that. And so they build a loop schedule and start looping through all of those subjects. But I have to tell you, sometimes the idea of a loop schedule can be just a little bit overwhelming because you're really juggling a bunch of balls. You're spinning a lot of plates. You have so many different things going on. And if that's the way you feel when you look at a loop schedule, just know that it's completely okay to do totally the opposite or the anti-loop schedule in your morning time. So instead of making a list of a bunch of different things that you want to do and moving from one to the other, what instead you're going to do is say, we're going to focus on one thing at a time. So if right now we are studying, let's say, movie music. This was something my kids and I did a couple of years ago in our morning time, and it was such a favorite for them. And so we studied different movie soundtracks, different movie scores that had been written and conducted within the past 40 or 50 years, and just really enjoyed diving deep into that movie music, the feel of the music, the instrumentation of the music, the composers of the music, and kind of what they were trying to do when they wrote the pieces. And we had so much fun with this. So you can do something like that and say, that is all we're doing for morning time right now. And while it took my kids and I about 6 or 7 weeks to move through that series of different movie musics, because we were doing it maybe one time a week, you could say, we're going to focus on this for the next 2 weeks, and this is all we're doing for the next 2 weeks. We're not putting anything else in our morning time, and you focus on just the one thing until you are done with it. And either way is a perfectly legit way to do a morning time. So one of the reasons you might want to do this, other than being overwhelmed, is sometimes when you build a longer loop schedule, you may only be doing morning time 4 or even 3 days a week. If you're going to co-op 1 day a week, if you're doing a lot of field trips, if you only homeschool 4 days a week and one of those days you're out of the house, you might only be getting to morning time 3 days a week. And if you have a loop schedule, then it takes a really long time for you to get back to some of the things in the loop. And so there's almost a disconnect sometimes. So let's say you're trying to read a Shakespeare play with your kids and you've got it in a loop schedule. Well, you're only doing morning time 4 days a week, and you only get to the Shakespeare play once a week, if everything's going great. Maybe some weeks somebody gets sick or you miss an extra day, and so you end up skipping a week before you get back to Shakespeare. It's really hard to hold the plot of the Shakespeare play or anything else in your loop, quite frankly, if you're not getting to it enough. And so that's another reason why sometimes it's better to just say, you know what, for the next few weeks, we're just going to focus on doing one thing in our morning time instead of a bunch of things. Okay, so now that I've given you some reasons why you might want to focus on just one thing in your morning time at a time, what does this look like? And for most people, it does not look like doing just one thing in morning time. It doesn't look like, sitting down with your kids and just opening the Shakespeare book, just doing Shakespeare and saying we're done. What it looks like instead is there are some things in your day that are kind of your everyday things, no matter what. So for your family, that might be prayer, some kind of Bible study. You might be working on some memory work, and so every day you want to work on that new piece of memory work. Maybe you sing hymns together. So those are kind of your basics, your everyday items in your morning time. In our morning time, we definitely have things that we do every single day. So you would still do your everyday items. You would still do the things that make morning time your morning time for your family. But then you would add just one other thing to that and do that along with your basics. So then what you would do is you would do just your one thing until you were done with it. So let's say you chose an art appreciation curriculum about Van Gogh. So you would do your daily items and then you would do your art appreciation with Van Gogh every day that you did morning time until you were finished. And this might only take you a week and a half. It might take you 2 weeks, just depending on how much you get into Van Gogh and want to study him and spend time with his works of art and how much hands-on stuff that you do. But when you're done, then you put Van Gogh aside and you pick up something else. So maybe the next few weeks you're going to read a Shakespeare play, or the few weeks after that you're going to do watercolors, or you're going to study insects or something of that nature. And so you're just adding one thing at a time to your basic schedule. And when you finish one thing, you take it out and you add the next thing in. And it really is kind of a simple, life-giving way to run a morning time. And honestly, by the time the school year's over and you've done this over and over again, you may find that you've accomplished just as much stuff using the one thing morning time principle as you would have if you were following a loop schedule. Okay, so here is that special tool I was telling you about that might just help you get this done. So we have what are called morning time explorations, and these are little sets of morning time plans meant to last about a month long, and they're all built around a theme. And these are fun themes that kids love, things like sharks and ships and sailing and snow and ice and space, things that kids really get into. And so what we've done is we've given you just about enough activities to last an entire month in your morning time. So this is a perfect way to do one thing in your morning time. This month, we are just focusing on ships and sailing and wonderful lore of the sea. And in there, we've got poetry, we've got paintings, we've got art projects, we've got folk tales and songs and everything you could possibly need. And the way you do this is you just pick and do one thing every day. And so it is a wonderful, simple way to do a morning basket in your home. We also include level up activities. So if you have older kids, you could bring them into the activity of the day with just a slightly higher level for them. So it really is perfect for the entire family. And you can find that by following the link on the screen and finding out where our most current set of explorations is, depending on when you're watching this. And see if that's something that you would like. I think you will. So thanks for watching today's training on the anti-loop schedule, or the one thing principle for your morning time. And if you liked this and would like more trainings like this one, be sure to hit subscribe and the little bell to get notified every time we go live.